Hello, Year 6, and welcome to RTT Learning. This is the first lesson. Just before we start going into our lesson, just a reminder that if you want to pause the video at any point, that's absolutely fine. I would suggest that a good time to pause it is when I give you a task to do, or if there is a question you need to be thinking about. Please pause it when you need to, then restart the lesson so you can go at your own pace. I would recommend that you watch the video and pause it where you need to the first time. Then if you need to go back into the video at any point, if you need to rewatch it, and you can skip and fast forward past bits. I'll also give you hints and prompts as to when you might want to pause the video as we go through. So let's get started. So we're going to start off our first DT lesson this term by looking at a design brief. I'm going to be thinking about what that is and doing some analysis of a product. Before we start though, let's do our knowing more and remembering more. So if you just put the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 in the margin on the left-hand side of your page, then get ready to write the answer down. So yeast makes bread rise, true or false? Question 2, the UK has a high production rate of bananas, potatoes, or pineapples. Question 3, what is a design brief? And question 4, why do we carry out a product analysis? Okay, if you need some more time, might be a good time to pause the video now. If you're done, make sure you have a different color pen or pencil if you have one available. So when we go through the answers, we can tick and fix them. Okay, here we go with the answers. So true, yeast does make bread rise. And the UK has a high production of potatoes. Make sure you fix it if you've got the answer incorrect by writing it next to it. What is a design brief? It outlines what the product needs to be or be to be able to meet the client's needs and wants. And why do we carry out a product analysis? To ensure we do not repeat mistakes and can create products that are more likely to sell. So for question 3, if you've talked about what the client or the customer wants or needs, then you've got the answer right. And for question 4, not question 2, as it says on the screen, it's about a product analysis means we don't make repeat mistakes and we can create something that's more likely to sell, something that is unique and isn't on the market already. How many did you get right? Well done if you got 4 out of 4. Okay, so if we were in school, we would be doing this in talk partners, but as we're at home, if there's an adult or somebody else in the home you can talk to, what do you think we are going to be studying this half term? Okay, so you've had a look. And if you were talking about looking at different bags and different ways of carrying things, you would be absolutely correct. Now, what you may have noticed when you look at all of these is they're not a bag that typically, apart from this one here that goes over the shoulder, the other ones around it are ones that go around our waist. So we're going to be thinking about carrier bags and how we can make a new carrier bag product of our own. Not to be thinking about a carrier bag that you'd put your shopping in, but a bag that you can carry things in that will go around your waist typically. This one is slightly different, but that's an interesting one to look at when we do our product analysis. Okay, so this is our learning objective, is to complete a product analysis today. And if we're successful in our learning, we'll understand what a design brief is. So we'll be thinking about who our customer might be or what our client needs and what their wants are. We'll be able to identify the important parts of the design brief. We'll understand why it's important to look at similar existing products, and we've talked about that a little bit already, and we'll analyze an existing product or products and identify its key features that are important to a successful product. So, key vocabulary. So we'll go through the words in green first, the words that you know. We'll do it my turn, your turn. So design brief, product analysis. Good, well done if you said those words out loud. I should actually say at this point that if you repeat the words back, it helps you in your learning. And when I'm asking you questions, if you answer back to me using your voice, instead of just thinking it into your head, that also helps with our learning and helps us retain information a bit better. So well done to those of you who are already doing that. And a key word that we're going to meet today My turn, your turn. Aesthetics. Good. So aesthetics is about the way it looks and how appealing it might be. So when we're thinking about the design brief, we're thinking about who our client might be. We need to think about what might it be that they would want that would mean it would sell for them, because that's important. It needs to be aesthetically pleasing. It needs to need to look good to the eye. So this is your design brief, and I kid you not, this is the actual truth. Mr. Church, I have broken my ankle, and I broke it at the beginning of December. And I have been on crutches for some time, and I'm still on crutches now, but it's a real problem being able to carry things around my flat. So for example, at the moment, I cannot even carry a glass of water from the kitchen into the living room. Because I'm on two crutches, I have no hands available. I only have one leg to hop on. Therefore, I cannot carry something. So my problem at the moment is if I need to have some water, I need to stand in the kitchen and drink my cup of water. Then I can hop on both my crutches back into the living room to do my work. It also means that if I need to carry my laptop with me and I want to go into another room to do some work, I can't take my laptop or my charger with me, or I can't even carry my mobile phone. So I actually do need your help. So I've given you some ideas, and you can see there's a photo of my leg there to prove it actually is in plaster at the moment. This is some time for you to be thinking now, what types of items might somebody need to carry around with them? So if you imagine that someone needs to have things all of the time, need to have their hands free, what might they need? This might be a good time to pause the video while you think about this. Okay, so it could be, for example, someone who works with tools, or a handyman, or an electrician, and they'll often have their drills and their equipment with them, and they need it all the time. They can't keep carrying it around in a big bag everywhere. If they've got it accessible around their waist, then that's more likely to be of use to them. As I talked about, for me, being on crutches, it's those essentials such as my phone, or being able to carry a drink around is certainly something that might be of use. And I'm sure you've got lots of other ideas as well. So we need to think about existing products, and it's important for us to look at ones that might already be on the market. So first question for you, what is this called when we look at existing products? Good. If you've talked about it being a product analysis, you're absolutely correct. When we look at what's already out there and we analyze them, we think about what's good about them, what's not so good. But the question is, why do we do it? Okay, well done. If you were saying that we do it because it helps us look at what is already out there, what's selling well, maybe what's not selling well, and also what we might need to put in place to help that the product sell a bit better as well. And you can see in the picture here, we've got, which looks like a tool belt, we've got pencils and drill bits or Allen keys in there. So certainly having, what you could say from looking at this product is when we analyze it, it's easy to access all of the pockets. And I would imagine that these are at the front. I wonder though, why is this pocket here at the very front not as long as these two? That's clearly been done for a reason. Why might that be the case? Okay, so thinking time. I know it says partner two at the top there, but you can be doing this by yourselves, or if you have somebody there to help you, perhaps you could ask them these questions and talk about it together. When we're carrying out a product analysis, what are the key things that we need to look at? I'll give you some thinking time now. Okay, so I'm sure you've come up with much better ideas than me, but the ones that certainly I was thinking about were, we need to be thinking about, is it adjustable? So we need to think about how easy is it to adapt it to the person's needs. So if we're thinking about a belt going around somebody's waist, can they adapt it so it fits them comfortably? So comfort is definitely going to be a good thing. One of the new word we were introduced to at the beginning of the lesson, thinking about aesthetics, how it looks, thinking about the size, thinking about the materials we're going to use. Is it going to be best if it's made from a cotton fabric or a linen fabric, or something more durable, something more hard wearing, such as a leather or something like that, perhaps? I'm sure you came up with much better ideas than me as well, year 6. Okay, so these are the kind of things we need to be thinking about. Why? Why is this product here? What is the purpose of it? How has it been made? Who is it for? And what is it for? So those are 4 big questions that you might want to be keeping in your head or writing down that are going to help you as we go through this unit. Okay, so we can see 4 different designs here as we were talking about at the front of the top of the lesson about being able to have carrier belts that we would put around our waist. And these are similar to ones that you could make. So we've got here in the left-hand side one that's, so I want you to think about here, who is this for? Why has it been made? How has it been made? And what materials can you see? And then maybe pick another one. So compare them. Start thinking now about the products you can see on the screen and thinking about those 4 questions. Why have they been made? Who have they been made for? This might be a good time to pause the video, to have some thinking time, maybe make some notes. Okay, so we're going to have a look, and I'm going to give you your independent learning in a minute to do, but what I want to do is to help take your learning further, and let's look at quite an impressive inventor and engineer, and it is somebody that you will all have used this product. I guarantee you that 90%, 99% of you will have used his product at some point already in your life. So his name is George Demetro, and he was a Swiss electrical engineer and inventor. And you may recognize this product here, and certainly we use it in school. George invented the hook and loop fastener, which he went on to name Velcro. So this is why he's important. He is the man that is responsible for giving us Velcro, that I'm sure, as I said, many of you will have used thinking about shoes before you could learn to tie your shoelaces up. Most of us would have had Velcro shoes. We use Velcro in school. When we're moving your names around on the board and things, often there'll be Velcro patches on those. So he first discovered the hook and loop after returning from a hunting trip with his dog in the Alps, which are the mountains, in 1941. After he removed several of the burdock burrs, which are the seeds, and you can see them up here next to a photograph of him, he noticed they kept sticking to his clothes and his dog's fur. And this made him question. He became curious as to how it worked. He looked at them, he examined them under a microscope, and he noted and he saw that there were hundreds of hooks. And you can just see on this picture, and certainly if you do a image search on the internet for burdock burrs, you will see that at the end of them, they are hooked over. And they catch onto anything with a loop, so clothing, animal fur, or hair. And he saw the possibility of putting 2 materials reversibly in a simple fashion to make a new product. So you can see the images down here. We now have it in different colors, and we have a microscope image here of what happens to Velcro. So we have the hooks, which is the inspiration he got from the seeds. Then we have all these big loops of material or fabric that are the bit that the hooks attach onto. But what was interesting is at first people didn't take his idea seriously. But once he found a weaver that could help him, it took him 10 years to develop the idea and find suitable materials. Because if you think about it, if you keep, in a sense, ripping it apart with the hooks and the fabric here, it needs to be a hard wearing, a durable fabric. So something like cotton wouldn't be a suitable material to use. And the name Velcro comes from the French words velours, which means velvet, and crochet, which means hook. So you can see he's mashed them together to come up with a new word, Velcro. So the first use of Velcro came from the aerospace industry, where the fastening helped astronauts to get in and out of bulky spacesuits. In fact, there is also a video on YouTube you can see of an astronaut who shows you how Velcro helps them just keep things down. Because if you imagine in space, there is 0 gravity and actually things will float around. And I think he's making some food in space, and he puts the honey onto the side of the space station or the space wall by using Velcro so it doesn't float away. But after the space astronauts started using it in the space industry, skiers caught on and they thought it was a good way of applying their ski wear. Then it caught the attention of scuba divers and it continued the chain until Velcro was used in most textile industries. We're making clothing. And as I said, a lot of us wear it now. So this is your independent task. Now you can see there is a table on here. If you want to pause the video to record the table, or if you want to do this in a slightly different way, that's absolutely fine. But what is important is we think of different carrier belts and then we are answering these questions as we go along. So I have already put in some images for you, but if you have different belts around your house or you know of different belts, that's absolutely fine. But if we can, it would be great to look at 2 or 3 different ones because then we can compare them. So the questions for us to be thinking about today: what materials have been used to make the carrier belts? What are the different parts called? So can you identify the names of the parts of the belt? What is their function? What do they do? So for example, in this one, you can say there's a space to put a water bottle. This one looks like it's got some big open pockets. Why are they there though, and what do they do? And this one looks like it has pockets that are designed for holding specific tools. What are the decorative features? So this is thinking about our aesthetics, how it looks. Who is the user? So who is the intended client here? So this water bottle one, for example, might be more appropriate for somebody like me who can't carry their water around with them in their hands because I'm currently on crutches. Whereas this one looks like that is for somebody who is working as a tradesperson, maybe a plumber, electrician, I'm not too sure. I'm sure you've got better ideas than me. And this last one, how was it made? So have a go, pause the video here and take as long as you need to. And then when you're ready, press play. Okay, so now you've looked at your different products. I want you to think about, okay, so for our conclusion, I want you to think about what have you found out from your product analysis? So we've looked at some different products. What is it that you have found out that's made you think, right, if I was to make my own carrier belt, this is what I would need to have? What are the key things that you will need to make sure for your own designs to have to be unique to meet the need of the client? So just spend some time thinking about that now. If you need to pause the video, that's fine. Share your ideas with people. You can tell me through the screen. Okay, so just to test our knowledge, let's see how amazing you've been today. I'm sure you have learned a lot and have been listening really well, so well done, Year 6. So what is a design brief? Why is it important to carry out product analysis? And what features do carrier belts have? If you can answer those questions, you have done amazingly well today. So just thinking ahead to our future learning, we're learning this so that we can identify the needs and wants of the product user, the client. We can think about writing a design specification for the carrier belt, and the conclusions from the product analysis will be used to help write the design specification for the carrier belt, which we're going to move on in future lessons. But Year 6, that is it for today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed looking at different belts, and I can't wait to see what is happening on the next lesson and where we take this next time.